Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rance.
Welcome, everyone, to Sports Shorts presented by LeBears Casino in Baton Rouge. Ronnie Rance here with you alongside our special guest in our segment number one is a longtime baseball guy in the Baton Rouge area and now the skipper, the manager of the collegiate team, the Baton Rouge Rougarou. Welcome in Rooster Southall with you. How are you, Rooster?
Good, man. I'm outstanding today.
So, all right. So you're a guy, an old baseball guy, and I quotes on old.
Right.
Spent some time as an assistant with Skip Bertman back in the 80s, and of course been involved in summer baseball and baseball development in the Baton Rouge area for a long time. Why did you decide to get involved in the Rougarou, a first-year collegiate baseball program?
Well, I think number one, it's a really good league. And I talked to them early on back in February or something when I heard about it. And I don't remember if they reached out to me or I reached out to them. I don't remember how all that happened. But at the end of the day, I've pioneered a lot of things, especially around baseball. And I'm kind of, always kind of been the guy that goes through the woods and comes back and goes, yeah, we could build a road right there, that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, this is a great product. The whole league is. I think it's a great product for Baton Rouge. And, we're really just getting cranking as LSU and Southern are shutting down. And we've got kids from both teams that will be playing with us when they're finished. And it's a great product. Summer baseball is really, really good at the collegiate level. And I just think this is a terrific thing. Play every night, a little bit cooler, with 7:05 starts. Really exciting. And, we have a good team.
So, obviously we'll talk a little LSU baseball, a little NCAA with you as well, since you spent a lot of time in that world. But, first off, the Rougarou is part of a 5-team league, 2 of them in Louisiana. Lafayette has the Cane Cutters.
Right.
They've been around a little while. And then you got 3 over in Texas. Is it Texas-Louisiana League? What's it called? The league?
It's the Texas Collegiate League.
Texas
the TCL,
Collegiate League. TCL. And the TCL's been around for a number of years.
A number of years.
Yeah, and I guess now they've kind of narrowed it down to their best 5.
Right.
And the thing that I'm impressed with, if people have not been, if you go out to Goldsby Field, which is where BRCC plays, an old ballpark, but of course, LJ Dupuy and his group have done such a great job, and the Rougarou have made it really nice. I mean, it's a much nicer facility than probably people remember the last time they went.
Yeah, there's some chairback seats been in, 2 big party decks, for corporate rentals and that kind of thing. There was a great group out there last night. And, they sell cold beer and hot dogs, and it's convenient. You don't just have to go underneath. They got some up in the grandstand area, and we've had some nice crowds. And it's good baseball. It lost last night in extra innings. A little extra ball for the fans.
And wooden bat, too.
And wood bat.
Yeah, so it sounds a lot different.
Yeah, it sounds a lot different. The game moves along. We played at 7:05 last night, and I got home to catch the last 4 innings of the LSU game. And we went into extra innings. So, efficient.
Goes quickly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Before we talk about your team, I want to get your reaction to LSU. I mean, you're a guy close to the program, you follow it closely. It's an amazing story because if you're not following LSU, if you're outside the state of Louisiana and you just see LSU across the chest, of course they're a national seed. They're hosting a regional. Of course they win a regional. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Right.
But if they were preseason number 1, number 2, why would that not happen, right? But if you follow the trials and tribulations of this 2019 season, it's been one of the more head-scratching years maybe ever in the modern era of LSU baseball.
Right. I agree with that. This, a lot of those kids out there have played in my program, and I know the kids, and I think that was kind of the missing link that a lot of us or a lot of the fans were missing. These kids have grit, and it ain't where you start, it's how you finish. And when it comes, and we all know that at LSU, it's like trying to play with the Cameron Crazies in basketball. It's like, trying to play in Tiger Stadium. It's a very intimidating place to play, and good teams come here to die because the crowd just wills them to wins. And I've felt like all along, at some point, this group was going to catch gear and things will start clicking because the crowd ain't gonna let you give in. Our fans is absolutely the best in the country, and might be the best in baseball, including Yankees and the rest of them, because they absolutely just will our guys to win. And it's tremendous. It's a tough place to play, and I know the kids, so I got to cheat a little bit. The Josh Smiths and the Zach Watsons and Chris Reeds, all those guys. I've known those kids for a long time, and they're a gritty bunch. They ain't giving in. That I can assure you.
Well, it's an amazing. I mean, I like you when the first month and a half of the season when they played so, poorly. They beat the bad teams, lost to the good teams, just inconsistent. I don't even know till now that they ever played at a high level for 10 days in a row. You know what I mean?
I would agree with that.
I mean, 2 games in a row, sure. But a week and a half playing at a high level where you go, hey, this is a top 5 team in the country. No, they haven't done that all year, and now they're starting to do that, and have done that. But I always felt like you about a month into the season that, yes, they don't look like the team that they should be, and it's extremely disappointing, and I know frustrating for the coaches and the players, but they just have too many good players. Like, it's inevitably, unless they're all hurt,
right,
they're gonna, it's gonna come around. I mean, it's amazing to think, but Antoine Duplantis was hitting 280 at one point this season. Now he's hit, his average is up around 320, which is what he is.
Yeah.
But he was hitting like 280 and it was going down, and then all of a sudden, bam.
Duplantis played for me as a 15-year-old, right? And we had a couple of teams, and I remember calling my partner at the time, and I said, by the way, the Duplantis kid's on the wrong team. And, he wasn't on the top team. I said, I'm telling you, this kid can really, really hit. And obviously he can.
Right.
And he knows where the barrel is, and he always uses it. And, things go your way, they don't. It's baseball. The old story of Ralph Kiner, really before my day, wins a batting title after starting the season 0 for 32, gets 1 hit, goes 0 for 32 again, and wins the batting title. And, of course, the media guy says, how do you do that? He goes, well, I can hit. I knew I was going to get my hits. No matter if they come in April or July. It doesn't matter. I'm going to get mine.
1 for 65. That's
strong.
That's digging out of a hole right there. My goodness. This team's is full of great stories at LSU. But the story to me that is, granted, Chris Reed was the story of the first half. Saul Garza is the story of the second half. Granted, he's not Josh Smith's the MVP of the season, from a defensive standpoint and the consistency he's been at the whole year. But the Saul Garza story, I mean, halfway through the season, guys were talking about him, former players that have a history perspective that can talk about what happened in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and talk about as one of the biggest busts in junior college transfer history relative to the expectations. Saul Garza was supposed to do what he's doing now. He was supposed to hit 4-5, hit a bunch of homers, drive in a bunch of runs, hit 300 plus, because that's what he did and was so good at in junior college. He was hitting 188, 60-something, 62, 3, 4, 5 at-bats into the season. 188 with 1 homer. And the bat just looked slow. Right. It looked like he was overmatched. Like,
underwater.
He's not going to be able to hit 90 plus. It's too slow. He's hitting over 400 in the last about 80 at-bats. I mean, and now looks like a guy where you got to sweat the draft a little bit. Like, although he's a sophomore because transferred, and so he'll be back. But my goodness, that turnaround. I mean, what did you see from an old coach perspective?
Well, here's a couple things that I know. While it's a very, very difficult for an opponent to come into Alex box, for a kid that transfers in here or a freshman that's coming in for the first time, and you go out and if you don't have immediate success, then you begin to put pressure on yourself. And unnecessarily, they love you if you're in purple and gold, but you still you have that need to succeed, and you put pressure on yourself. All kids do, all players do. They do it, at all levels of baseball. And I think that may have been a piece of it, that he'd begin to press a little bit. And when one presses, another presses, and then things are happening. And, Paul lost his dad at some point during the season, so it's a distraction regardless. And he's a professional coach, and he's very good. So I know that he fought through that. But, there's like stuff going on at all times. And, again, it's how you finish, not where you start. And Garza is a great story, but I do think it is a part of kids aren't used to playing in front of 10,000 people. You come from a junior college or you come from another school, there may be 200. Sometimes it's just a few parents and a girlfriend.
Right. And in his case, he's got an excuse, right? I mean, the guy had meniscus surgery on his knee in the fall, and granted, we think of arthroscopic surgeries as no big deal. Oh,
it's not if you're coming to sit in the booth,
right? Exactly. if you're just coming to talk baseball, not a problem. If you're going to try to play at a high level, it might take you longer than it takes me, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So in his case, I'm sure that was a big part of it too, to the point where he felt comfortable, not only comfortable being in the box and playing in front of these new people with the new teammates, but he kind of missed a lot of the fall. And he wasn't healthy, and it all caught up.
You can probably attribute the slower bat to the knee, that afraid to just turn it loose. You know what I mean? And because it's like a guy coming off of arm surgery. When do I really feel like I can turn it loose? Is that a year? Is that 6 months? Is that 18 months? Or some guys really struggle with that part of it.
Right.
And kind of the reality is, and once the kid is released from the doctor, that no, really it's better now than it was before. Go ahead and air it out, but that's a tough thing to overcome mentally, and that may have been a piece of it.
It's been an incredible story. The Saul Garza, the turnaround he's had in this season. My goodness, from 188 halfway through and looking like he didn't belong to all of a sudden being the MVP of the regional this past weekend against Southern Miss and Arizona State and everybody, and looking like it's not a fluke. I mean, it's not like he just got hot for a weekend. Like this guy's been hitting over 400 for the last month and a half.
And now that you've mixed him in with the Cabreras, the Duplantis, the Smiths, like this team, because I've been getting home with the Rougarou, right? I'm getting home later at night, and all weekend I caught the later games, the Stanford and the UCLA's, and LSU's as good as anybody in the country. Vanderbilt's really strong. In my opinion, I thought UCLA is good, but I don't think they're better than LSU.
Right.
They got
their lineup's not doesn't scare you.
Correct.
They just pitch. They're a good team. They
and
do
I'm
all
a homer.
the things.
I'm an LSU guy, and I know the players better.
Right.
Than I do UCLA, and I do scouting too. So I've been told all year UCLA is very good. Right. Vanderbilt's very good, and LSU's very good. So the preseason number one, while we didn't hammer it out there in February, March, and really most of April, it's okay, because now we're at the sweet spot of the season, and like in the days with Skip, I would much prefer to peak now than to have peaked.
Hey, look, at the end of the day, and Skip Bertman said this on one of the local shows the other day in Baton Rouge, they only remember you if you get to Omaha.
Correct.
I mean, and right or wrong, that's all that matters. All the SEC championships, all the 50-win seasons doesn't make a difference. It's were you on a team that got to Omaha or not?
Right.
And then, of course, the next separation is were you on a team that won the national championship?
Right.
And so it's all about. It's kind of like football. Did you win 10 games? Did you get to a New Year's bowl game? If not, Peach Bowl was nice. Chick-fil-A or whatever was nice. But I mean, it's all about 10 more wins, New Year's Day or more. That kind of stuff.
Ronnie, there's 6 teams that have come through LSU have won a national title. So basically, this community is full of people who were on some really good teams. And, they're kind of scattered out over age groups now because some of them are more recent, I guess, is 09.
Right.
But, those kids are very much aware of it.
Right.
Those kids that are young, the Josh Smiths, that group, they grew up right here. And even Zach, in West Washita, he knew what this is and the expectation is here. So it's really a cool thing. This is the powerhouse of baseball in the country. I don't care how good anybody else assumes they are.
He's Rooster Southall. He's the manager, the skipper of the Baton Rouge Rougarou. It's the brand new summer collegiate baseball team, Woodbat Summer Collegiate Baseball Team. They're playing at Goldsby Field. Check them out. They've got games all the time. Matter of fact, it's got a game today as we tape here on Monday. Got a game tonight, and then he'll be on the road. So it's kind of like a minor league schedule. They play all summer long. You need to go check them out. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation. We'll talk a little bit about the Rougarou. Also get Rooster's thoughts on Hall of Fame coach Roger Cato, who will join us a little bit later on in the show. And We'll talk about his time with the skipper, Skip Bertman, Hall of Fame, another Hall of Fame coach. Don't go anywhere. Sports Shorts will be back with more from LeBears.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows. Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Relief Windows.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rance.
Welcome back to Sports Shorts, presented by LeBears Casino in Baton Rouge. A lot of great concerts coming up over at LeBears. Go to Ticketmaster.com to check out all the country shows that are going to be coming this summer, or you can go by the Sundry store inside LeBears Baton Rouge and get your tickets. Tell them you heard it right here on Sports Shorts. Coach, before we get back to talking about the Rougarou, as the manager of the Rougarou joins us, Rooster Southall. Rooster, we've got Roger Cador coming up next on the show, and Roger's getting inducted into Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. 14 SWAC titles, kind of took the program that all the stuff he had was in a shopping cart, a shopping basket from the grocery store. Literally, like, here's the basket, here's the stuff, hang with them, good luck. That was 1984, in the fall of 84. And he took that program to be the powerhouse of the SWAC, and they're now in different hands with Carrick Jackson doing a great job, and they're back in the regional for the first time in 10 years. But when you think back to Roger Cador as he gets inducted this weekend to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, what are some thoughts?
You know, he's a pioneer. And I've always have had a lot of respect for Roger personally as a human being, as well as a baseball coach. And, we kind of take for granted the beginning stages of the building process. And it happened at LSU. I played at LSU, and, it'd be 6 people there Herb Vincent, was a student SID and would lean over the press box and go, hey, go back there keeping a chart for the other pitchers. He'd go, you guys ready to do the anthem? Like there's nobody there.
Right.
And that's the truth.
Right.
And, Roger was at Southern when that was happening. And literally build it block by block by block. But it's everything that, people don't realize. No, really, we need to play the national anthem before the game. We need to, there has to be a flag hanging out there. All of those things that the coaches have to do to get a program started. And he's just a star. He's put out a bunch of stars. The kids love him. He was firm enough, but fatherly-like enough, that everybody's played for him, had a lot of respect for him. And even when he was on you, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just like all good coaches. They're going to make you better than you're really willing to do on your own.
Well, he'll be getting inducted alongside a lot of greats. Peyton Manning, Les Miles also going into that class this weekend. And for more info, go to lasportshall.com. June 6th through 8th up in Natchitoches and Alexandria. Most of the events are sold out, but there's a few tickets left for some of the fun events that are going on, the Celebrity Bowl and Bash, as well as the VIP Taste of Tailgating. Another guy that you spent some time with, as a coach, was Skip Bertman, and of course, friends with him outside of that, helped him, run his camps for many, many years during the Skip Bertman baseball camps, which I was a part of on a couple of occasions in high school. But what made Coach Bertman so good, and what have you learned and taken with you in baseball and now as a manager of the Baton Rouge Rougarou?
Attention to detail, like every single aspect of it. Skip is the CEO of baseball, and it means, like, we play Florida, and I'm an assistant coach, and I don't dress because at that time,
limitations of the staff.
I need you to sit in every section of the stands, and give me his own personal money. I need you to buy popcorn, Cokes. You can give it away, but make sure the popcorn's hot, the Cokes are cold, all of those things. And it's the attention to detail that, of course, now everybody goes out there and has a wonderful time, and it's a super stadium, and it's all those things, but it wasn't. And it was all that attention to detail, and that translated right over into, because I'd coached at the University of West Florida prior to coming here, and when I got here, the very first thing I realized was practice is to the minutes. Like, we would do, let's say, pop fly communication. Well, it was for 17 minutes. It wasn't 15 rounded off to 17.
Right.
It was 17 minutes, and it was absolutely 42 guys at that time, extremely busy. And at 17 minutes, we went right into the next thing. And we did things for 3 days in a row, because the study of education tells you you're better to repeat things to learn it, as opposed to just grind that out, pop fly communications for an hour till the kids pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
Do it 17 minutes a day for 3 days in a row, and they got it. And he was a master.
What year was that you were mostly involved with?
89.
89. So let's talk about 89, because that's the magical season, that 30-year anniversary that's gotten a lot of attention here in the last week, because it's the anniversary of the LSU beating Texas A&M over in College Station, which that accomplishment's kind of been lost in time, because LSU, of course, has won 6 national titles. But prior to winning their first national title in 91, that was the moment, of LSU baseball that kind of put them on the map. Yeah, they went to Omaha in 86 and 87 before that, but in 89, big underdog, as everybody in the country was, on the road at Texas A&M, was such a great team. It only had under 5 losses all year long. Right. And to win 2 games in a row at that place was so special. But, it wasn't like LSU was throwing Clay Moffitt against somebody's All-American, which happened a week ago. Right. You had a number 10 pitcher against somebody's number 2 who was an All-American. You had Ben McDonald, you had Kurt Laskanik, you had a lot.
6 big league pitchers.
Yeah, you had some pretty good players. So it wasn't like poor old LSU went over there and shocked the world. They shocked the world in the sense that people didn't think A&M would lose, but this was a pretty good 89 team.
I'll give you the brief synopsis. A&M's 55-3, ranked number 1 preseason, and they never relinquished it. They were unreal. And in that regional, of course, we get a 2 seed, and we have to go to College Station, to the number 1 team in the country. And the first team we're going to place is UNLV,
right,
who has Donovan Osborne, who's a 6th player picked in the draft, kind of in the Aaron Nola mode,
mm-hmm.
Right? And we're like, okay, terrific. right? So we get over there and do it. And long story short, unreal series. I could give you verbatim everything that went on. I did it. Ran into their center fielder a couple of years ago at a convention, and he's a high school coach now. And we started recalling, I mean, every single play.
Right.
And before it's over, it's 300 people gathered around listening. You know, because the A&M people still are a little angry.
Yeah, they're
That's
bitter.
the best team they've
no,
ever
it's,
had.
You can't. It's a real thing because we both have had a lot of experiences over in College Station since then, and it's a thorn in their side to this day. As many
No
things as
question.
they've accomplished, and they've been to the College World Series a number of times since. But that '89, even for some people that are pretty young, they grew up and hearing about it and knowing about it.
Well, exactly. And, kind of what happens in building of a program is in that series, Paul Bird, Chad Auger, some guys were freshmen, they grew up. We weren't sure that Auger, for example, who won 2 games in the real World Series, right, at the big league level, we weren't sure he was even going to make the travel squad for the postseason. But he does. And we get him in there, and we got nobody left in a regional because they were 16 regionals, and we throw him out there, and the whole time we're thinking, man, if he could just get through 3 innings, that'd be good. Well, after 3 innings, his chest is starting to come out. He knows he belongs.
Right.
Right? And then, of course, we were very good. Curtis Laskanik won 3 games in that regional, coming out of the pen. But that freshman class, we fell short, lost to Texas, I think, in a 4-3 ball game in Omaha, and probably could have and should have won Skip's first national title.
Right.
But what I can tell you is that freshman group, once we accomplish that at A&M, well, that group comes back and wins the 91 national championship, and then it's over. In other words, once you win the first national championship, that's the toughest one. And once you win it, then recruiting gets much easier. The kids want to come
And the pressure barrier belief and all that as
all
well.
those things. And, because when you go to Omaha the first time, all the manufacturers are there. They want you to use a new bat and all this stuff because there's TV. And the kids want to do that. It's like the Super Bowl hype.
Right.
Whereas like the Patriots, they're used to that. So after you start going each year, then the kids are learning, well, I'm hitting like Duplantis. I'm hitting 312 with this one or 321. I'll use this one, put the new one in the box for next year.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you kind of get used to that hype. And because that first time, it's the best steak you ever had because you're in Omaha. And it's the best movie theater you've ever been into. Like, come on, because you got to kill time and all these things. And all those things just aren't true. You got to get over the hype. And that group at A&M, with that freshman bunch.
They laid the foundation for that first national title.
And you add in a Rick Green and some of the other guys that came along, and they were tremendous. Cordani, all that bunch.
Let's jump over here real quick, and then we'll wrap up with the Rougarou and talk about them a little bit. But getting back to this LSU baseball team this year and where they're at right now. I had a conversation earlier today with Louis Garcia and Javi Sanchez, former LSU assistant coach, and we talked about, they're like, well, this team, where this team is at versus before. Paul Maneri said this over the weekend. It's the first weekend, the regionals was the first weekend that Cole Henry and Landon Marceau pitched on the same weekend. Trent Vettmeyer, who was out for the last couple of weeks, he's 91-95 yesterday out of the bullpen. Where'd this guy come from? This guy was 88-90 for 2 years, with an occasional 91.
Yes.
He's 95. Like it's unbelievable. So they're healthy, and they've got a number of guys that out of that pitching staff, not that go 8-9 innings. It's not to give it to Cole Henry and he goes a CG like Sorotka in 93, but he gets you past the 5th, and then they've got a number of guys that can pitch 2 or 3 innings in a row out of the bullpen. They're not 1-inning guys.
Mix and match.
Yeah, Fontenot can go 3-4. Hess can go 3-4. Peterson can go 3-4. Vittmeyer can go 3-4. Beck can give you 2-3. It's not you can do that. And the confidence that this pitching staff pitched with over the weekend to me outweighs what we saw offensively. It was incredible.
Well, when you break it down, like the SEC tournament, I didn't think we were going to win that simply because we don't have the pitching depth. I don't know that anybody does.
Especially if you got to play on Tuesday.
You got to win that by chance, right? So in this one, man, it's just 4 teams.
Right.
We man up on this one. Next weekend, Florida State rolls in here. It's just 1 team.
Right.
So pitching less pitches, or
Right.
in less innings.
Yeah.
It was like
It's not about who your top 14
'cause
are. It's about who your best
bullpen
6
is a
are.
big deal. Like if
Yeah.
I look at the big league season, it's 2,000 innings.
Right.
And so you kind of mathematically start figuring it out in the preseason. All right, how many can I get out of this guy? How many can I get out of that guy? And it's about eating innings, and eventually, that's why they play so many games. And the best team's going to rise to the top because the bullpen depth is a big, big deal. And I like our chances. Now it'll slow down because I do believe we're going to Omaha. And I think we got a legitimate shot, as good as anybody else, to win it. But you got off days in there, so our pitchers can recover, so can the other guys. And now it's going to come down to matching up because 80% of baseball is determined, by the guys on the mound.
Talking to Rooster Southall, former LSU Tiger player and coach, and now the manager skipper of the first year Baton Rouge Rougarou franchise. They are in the Texas Collegiate League, one of 5 teams in that league, too, out of the state of Louisiana. The Cane Cutters are the other from Lafayette. And before we let you go, you got Southern, LSU. Give us some Southern players, some LSU players.
We got
some folks from South Louisiana that are familiar with that are playing with
we
you.
have a couple of kids I love. Cortland Ramirez, that's at UNO, is from Center Point, Louisiana. I've got we're full of Louisiana kids with Louisiana roots. Bozozi, Hammond kid, from Southeastern, lefty. He can really pitch. And I'm going to work with him on trying to develop a changeup as well. He's a lefty, and lefties with a changeup.
Got to have that, yeah.
Yeah, really, really tough. We got just a plethora of local flavor kids. Some are at UNO, Southeastern. We're still trying to fill a few spots. Brennan Lambert played right here at Catholic High. He's at Lamar, behind the dish. Made a terrific play the other day. On a pop up just right against the wall that everybody's hollering, let it go, and he comes out of there with it. Just good players. Clowers kid that's at Stephen F. Austin, but he's a local kid from your area of the world, Central. I've known his dad for a long time. I'm starting to really feel old. And like whenever LSU finishes, I think Drew Bianco's coming, and I'm coaching, and his dad Mike, who's been in the league in the SEC for 19 years, I coached him. Now I got the son, so I'm old.
Right.
There's no question about that. But it's a good team. The Rougarou team is a good team, and we're as good as I've only seen three of the other teams, and I only got one left. We're as good as them. I just need my full complement of pitching depth, and we're going to be fine.
Well, check out the Baton Rouge Rougarou over at Goldsby Field, Rooster Southall's team. They play just about every night, either home or away. So check out their website. That's Baton Rouge Rougarou. And the Collegiate League, and we know Drew Bianco will be out there when their team's over with. When LSU season's over with, he'll join the squad. And they've got, again, you got to get a program because a ton of Southern, Southeastern, UNO guys and others that are on their roster. Thanks so much for coming and joining us, Rooster.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
it.
me, man.
I'll be out there as soon as the season's over with. I'll be on that party deck.
There you go.
All right, we come back. We'll talk to Hall of Fame coach Roger Cador next.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau Saint Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your Vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows. Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Windows.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rance.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sports Shorts, presented by LeBear's Casino in Baton Rouge. Thanks to Rooster Southall, the new skipper of the Baton Rouge Rougarou, the Texas collegiate team playing over at Goldsby Field. And a guy who knows about Goldsby Field, who played there back in the day, although it wasn't renovated like it is now. But Hall of Fame coach Roger Cador joins us. How are you, Coach?
Ronnie, I'm doing fine. Jimbo, how are you?
I'm great. This time of the year, it's got to bring back a lot of good memories for you. It's been, obviously, as a Southern Jaguar, this was a really special June, as the Jags were back in a regional for the first time in 10 years since you took the team to the box and had LSU scared for 6-7 innings with Chase Richard on the bump. Yes. But had to make you proud, the job that the Jags did this year, winning another SWAC championship and headed to Mississippi State.
Yes, very proud of them because, as I talked to people about it, most of the seniors, all of them were walk-on kids because we didn't have scholarships when Javian Williams and Malik Blaze and some of those kids, they walked on and they made me proud at the end.
They had Mississippi State right on the ropes, Coach. 6-6 going into the 7th inning. Jags played well, gave it all they had, kind of ran out. The clock struck midnight on Connor Whalen, who had a magical season, hadn't given up an earned run all year. The 10 saves for the closer from Baton Rouge, and unfortunately it wasn't his day over in Stark Vegas, but they gave them all they had.
Well, you see, when you don't make the routine play, that double play ball, it kills him. And for Whalen, he needed that double play for gaining confidence. I thought that had Johnny Johnson made that double play, Whalen would have then taken over. But then they put him in a hole, and he wasn't able to dig himself out of it.
Yeah, the defense had a little something to be desired in the regional, and that's to be expected. When you're on the road in that environment in front of nearly 10,000, sometimes the defense can let you down, and I think that was the story of the game for Southern. But that said, they had a great year. They won another championship. You know something about that. Won 14 SWAC titles when you were over there at Southern University. How has the league changed in the last 10 years? What does the SWAC look like now?
Well, they have a lot of better young coaches, programs. The schools have made an investment in baseball, not a large investment, but enough to make them competitive against each other. And the migration of more Latin American kids and white kids, have really played a huge part in the way the SWAC is now.
Yeah, it's not just a 2-horse league like it was you and Jackson State for so long, and now anybody can pop up there and obviously Texas teams will have a little more resources, than some of the other states. So interesting. We'll be watching Carrick Jackson to see if Southern can continue over 30 wins this past year. Well, big week for you. Big week for you. The Roger Cador clan is going to be heading up to Natchitoches in Alexandria later this week for the induction into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. That's June 6th through 8th. For more info, go to lasportshall.com. You're joining the likes of Danielle Scott and Les Miles and Peyton Manning. I know you're going to be looking forward to it.
Oh, it's a big weekend. Jimbo, you're in charge.
A little bit.
That makes it even bigger. It's bigger than you could even imagine. And it's a special moment for someone like me and who's overcome a great deal in life to be here. Obviously, I often tell people if I had been thinking about myself, no way I could ever be here because I would have quit with the lack of facilities and monies and everything at Southern. So, but it was all about the kids who needed me more than I needed anything else. They needed me to be able to be there, to endure, to get things done. And I think that's the biggest thing that helped me climb. And then I had so many good kids, so many wonderful families. That's how we made it.
What's this, I guess, last 8-9 months been like for you? You got notified in early September about your induction into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And now that you're retired from Southern and I'm sure you've heard from a lot of former players and staff and coaches. It's probably been a nice little ride.
It's been a great ride, and I've heard from people hadn't heard from in many moons or many years.
Yeah.
And I got to hear from them and congratulate me. But the thing about it is that information come up that you had forgotten about.
right. Stories. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They bring up stuff that you had forgotten about, and they were wonderful memories.
One of the people that will be there is a good friend of yours, old Stanley Skip Burtman. He will be at the Hall of Fame induction events on Saturday, the brunch and the induction banquet. And you guys have a long history. You go back to your first year as the head coach in 1985. Your history with Skip, that was only his second year as the head coach. Talk about that friendship and what he means to you.
Well, when I got the job and I passed by the building the other day, I can't remember what it was. It was sort of like an Applebee's, the little place over there, Jimbo. And Stanley and I went, and we drank a lot of water. Nobody bought it.
Yeah, both of y'all were broke at the time, right?
Yeah, we drank water. And so we were talking, and the discussion came up about how important community service was and that we needed to work the community together and that Baton Rouge was big enough for LSU and Southern. I think that's the key right there. He wasn't selfish. He wanted to share the city. Mm-hmm. And when he said it was big enough for both of us, I think that opened the door. And then we talked about playing the Mayor's Cup, and that's why it was born out of that. And the relationship only grew from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you guys, your teams were always very involved. And not only did you play LSU every year, but it was also very involved in the Baton Rouge Kids Clinic, which was a great event for many, many, many years in the 80s and 90s, where both teams would work as counselors and all that and help run that camp. We'll take a break. When we come back, our conversation will continue with Coach Cador. We'll talk about the NCAA regionals, how the college baseball game has changed, the recruiting has changed. We'll talk about that and some great memories from his time as the Hall of Fame coach of the Southern Jaguars. We'll be back with more Sports Shorts presented by LeBears.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call Accutemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau Saint Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows. Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.
Relief Windows.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call AccuTemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
Can't get enough sports shorts? Tune into Sports Shorts TV on Cox HD Channel 1013 Mondays at 8, Tuesdays at 9, and ETEL Channel 4. That's 52 weeks a year to get educated on sports by the best. Joel Davis and Ronnie Rance.
Welcome back, everybody. Ronnie Rance alongside the Hall of Fame coach Roger Cador, who will be getting inducted later this weekend into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. If you cannot attend, you can watch it on Cox Sports Television. That is this Saturday night, 5 o'clock is the red carpet arrivals show. They'll replay that special at 6, and then 7 p.m. we'll be live inside the Natchitoches Convention Center for the 2-hour Hall of Fame induction event. And you can check out Coach Cador, Peyton Manning, Les Miles, Danielle Scott. You know, Coach, I obviously a lot of people, they hear, you know, your name and Peyton Manning and Les Miles' name. Those are the names that jump out the most to the folks, particularly in the South Baton Rouge area. But I tell everybody for the last 8 months, the most deserving Hall of Famer is none of y'all. It's Danielle Scott. You know, Danielle Scott went to Woodlawn High School. She graduated 88, 89, went to Woodlawn in Baton Rouge, then went on to play college basketball and volleyball at Long Beach State. Won a national championship in volleyball, won the equivalent of the Heisman Trophy in volleyball while she was there, was a 5-time Olympian, 2-time medalist, only 5-time female volleyball player in history, and then was a professional for a long time and was so good, was voted the #1 indoor volleyball player in the world for the decade of 2001 to 2010. So nothing that Peyton Manning, Les Miles, or Roger Cador has done can come close to Danielle Scott's accomplishments.
Why it took so long?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good question.
Yeah.
But excited. It's a very diverse class. We've got some folks that, you know, rodeo champions. We've got obviously a volleyball player, a football coach, a baseball coach. We've got a couple quarterbacks and broadcasters. It's really, really going to be a lot of fun. You can check it out this Thursday live from 3 to 5. The press conference will be on Cox Sports Television from the museum in Natchitoches. And then Saturday night, the festivities begin at 5 o'clock all the way to about 9:30 will be the coverage of the Hall of Fame induction up in Natchitoches on CST. This time of the year, Coach, I mean, even though you've been out of coaching for a couple of seasons and, you know, you miss it a little bit, you know, you got a lot of great memories with postseason.
A lot of great memories. And Jimbo, I tried to to take life in stride. You know, being a former professional baseball player, I had to let it go too. And it didn't affect me. Coach, I didn't play for getting out of pro ball, but I actually played to get out of coaching. And it was a 5-year period. And for all practical purpose, most people don't know, I actually retired in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And because we had some academic issues, the chancellor then, Jim Lorenz, asked me to stay on and try to see the program through. And I did it. So that's basically, so it wasn't as difficult as people might think for me to leave baseball because I'd already done it in 2013.
What you've witnessed here in town, I mean, obviously, I tell folks all the time, you mentioned that how when you took over as the baseball coach at Southern back in the day, they handed you a shopping cart and said, here's the stuff, go get them. And then, it wasn't a whole lot different over at LSU. And to see where college baseball is, I mean, we just had Rooster Southall on. There's a, Texas Collegiate League, team being played at Goldsby Field, over 50 games this summer, with the Baton Rouge Rougarou and that's the appetite for baseball. The high school facilities are off the charts now. LSU leads the nation in attendance for 20 years. You've built a beautiful facility over, Lee Hines Fields. They got a clubhouse and locker room and covered stands. And I mean, it's amazing how far college baseball's come in 35 years in this city.
It really have. And I tell you, for me, and I shake my head in amazement sometimes when I look back and say, how did I do it? Well, it was the great community. Community people, the business people in the community got involved and really made life better for me. So, the kids benefited.
I saw you had a chance to spend some time with Ricky Weeks a couple weeks ago over at the SWAC championships down in New Orleans, which the Jags won. You were the ambassador for the league, and Ricky was in town. And now that he's retired, former top pick and major league first round pick, and played a all-star at one point and all that. What's the relationship like now? And now when he looks back on his time at Southern, what are his thoughts?
Well, we didn't talk much about that. I'm so happy that he's handling retirement really good because we talked about the things that he and his brother Jamal is involved in with baseball in the city of Orlando. I am so happy that he's not stuck in the mud where he can't let it go. He's saying, my thing now, I'm going to build facilities to teach kids how to play baseball. I'm partnering with Major League Baseball to do things that the inner city kids ain't going to have to worry.
So he's kind of you were involved for a while with the urban development program with Major League Baseball. So now Ricky's doing the same thing.
He's doing the same thing, and the thing is now he's going to get the financial in from the Players Association with Winfield and Dave Clark, and them guys are really going to be a big part in it. And they want to sort of like there's a pitcher used to pitch in the big leagues from Woodlawn High School. Give me his name.
Chad Durbin.
Chad Durbin is trying to do the same thing here. And all of those guys are involved in trying to revive balls in the inner city.
Well, I think that's a great thing because, the problem nowadays, and I'm guilty of it because I was involved in older high school level travel ball for 16, 17 years, kind of select teams, is that the gap is developing, right? Between what used to be rec ball or park ball or whatever you wanted to call it, novice ball, and it's either travel ball or nothing nowadays. And unfortunately, a lot of society can't afford the $5,000 a summer that it costs for the fees and hotels and things like that.
Well, what Ricky and them trying to do is the younger group, and they're not really spending a lot of energy on the travel ball yet. They want to do the city where the kids can play. They can't travel.
Just have facilities so that they can practice
where they can
and play.
Practice and play. And then, as kids get older, somebody can take them and do the travel ball. But they're going to be concentrating more on the younger kids. And that's where baseball really interest is, to keep those younger kids involved. Because if they could take a couple of good athletes from football, that's what's going to sustain them in the long run.
When you look back on your life and your introduction into sports, particularly baseball, and you're a guy who played in college, played professionally, who was one or two of the bigger influences on your childhood or later in teenage years?
Well, believe it or not, I made myself interested in it. And I remember when I was about 15 years old, an older guy by the name of Lo Vince came to my mother, not to my daddy, but to my mother, and asked her, could he have me so he could teach me how to play baseball? And she said, no, I don't want it. And he convinced her. He talked to her and said, he may be something one day. This could be something. And she said, okay, but you better take good care of my son. And that's so at 15 years old.
And what was that? It was a program around New Roads?
There's no program. We were playing with older men. I was playing with 30-year-old men at 15 years old.
Just pickup games.
Pickup games on Sundays. Sundays only.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was back then.
Yeah, the old sugarcane league.
It wasn't called that, but, you know, we call it whatever. I can't even remember.
Yeah, later became the sugarcane league. Yeah.
But that's how I started. I was a 15-year-old kid playing with 30-some-year-old men, having fun on Sundays.
You have accomplished so much. You've written books. Your teams have done so much. One closing thought going into the Hall of Fame this week. When you look back over at your time at Southern and all the accomplishments, what will stand out the most?
Well, it would go beyond Southern. Can I go further back than that? It's when I went out for basketball and I got cut, and I came back the next day. That was a turning point. But I'm going to take another step. It's the day I told my daddy I did not want to be a son of a sharecropper. I wanted to go to school. It was so difficult for my father.
What age was that?
12, 13. It was so difficult for my father because I was the last of the kids. Who was going to help him work? So I asked my daddy to give up the only thing he knew how to do. So when I went to the tryout for the basketball team, this is why I couldn't take being cut. I mean, I would have been a failure. And I had to go back the next day, and look what happened.
Coach, congratulations on all your accomplishments. Thanks for being on the show. We look forward to seeing you this weekend at the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame.
Jim Boy, it's my pleasure.
Thanks to Rooster Southall, who joined us on Sports Shorts. Hope everybody tunes in next week for more Sports Shorts. We'll kind of recap the Super Regionals. We'll recap the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame as well. Have a great week, everybody.
Heater outages hurt everyone. Don't be a victim. Call AccuTemp and schedule your maintenance check today.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau Saint Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Introducing the Mercedes-Benz family of vans, including the full-size Sprinter and the mid-size Metris. If these are your wingtips, if this is your gourmet latte, then these are your vans. Vans for professionals. Strictly professionals. Best commercial van residual value according to ALG, and starting at just $25,995. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to...
When you come to Relief Windows, your experience starts here.
Or here.
Then we come to your home.
We measure twice.
And then we bring custom windows to your home.
We remove your old windows. Install your new windows.
Clean our mess.
And we make sure you're completely satisfied.
And all of this before you pay a dime. And at Relief Windows, our #1 product is customer satisfaction.